All right, for today's first episode of Short North Posse, we have been lucky enough to get the one and only Danny Russo. If you haven't been around in the interior design world, this is the new kid on the block.
I wouldn't say new, I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, it's been doing it for a while. For the people that don't know who you are, tell us exactly who you are and what you do.
Well, I am considered a design influencer these days. I'm an interior designer. I have about 70,000 followers on Instagram. I've been on there since it started. And it's a curated collection of everything that I like doing, work I've done, and work that I have coming up. So it's, wow, what I do, I do a lot. I do a lot of different things. Sometimes I wonder, I question myself what I do sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm a truck driver. But I do whatever it takes to get the job done in the interior design world. From day to day, that can change drastically.
Right. Now, what you're most known for, and what I know you for, was the interior design.
Yes.
So let's start with that. How did you get started in the interior design world, and how long have you been doing this?
God, I want to say I've been doing it since about 2004, and I got started out just helping friends, doing my own place. It was a logistical nightmare figuring out, and I was working with other designers, and I just didn't, I was really drawn to the furniture and finish aspect of design, which plumbing fixtures, lighting specifications, it's like, I was always drawn to unique, weird things. So that's what got me into it. My first project was a salon, so I jumped right in. And
it was a salon?
It was a salon.
Salon.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, what type of salon?
Hair salon.
Okay.
So specifically, it was a hair salon for curly-haired people. What that means, I don't know, but I can tell you that I can design a salon. I should not be working in a salon. Very fun. It was a very fun project. So after that, my career just took off. I was getting called to redo kitchens, bathrooms. I've done bars, which you know. What else have I done? Museums, doctor's offices.
Yeah, I've seen
pretty
your
much
installation at the Columbus Museum of Art.
Yeah,
that was a very nice installation. So the projects that you first got started on, did you get started here in Columbus, or where did you kind of?
I did get started here in Columbus. Okay. Right down the street in the short north.
Okay.
I did not know what I was walking into today, or I would have been more prepared.
No, this is perfect.
What are we calling? You said it's a short north posse.
Yes, short north podcast.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You're starting at a good time with all these changes.
Yes. So what do you have going on now?
Right now, we're getting, so the Decorator Show House, which you saw me install at the Columbus Museum of Art, is an event that happens once every 2 years. Last year, 2 years ago, it was moved to the museum for the first time ever. It was a show house inside a museum, which was a logistical nightmare. People got to experience a little bit of it.
Yes.
We're getting ready to do the second version of that this year. It opens April 17th through May 18th, and I'm doing the dining room. So it's a very unique installation because we have no windows to work with, and we have creative control. So it's very difficult when I'm my own client and I don't have somebody telling me what they like or how to execute. Like my ideas, my brain's always moving, and I know so much. And as an interior designer, we're always known to be our own worst clients. So I'm doing the dining room, and it's going to be pretty special.
Okay. Are you working with anybody this year? I know the last time I went, you had some really cool painters that you had worked with.
Yes.
And you were working with some really cool distributors as well. Anybody this year we can look forward to
over the top.
Yeah, everything is very over the top.
I am being sponsored by Sony this year.
So
yes, and Genesis Audio. So I have to leave you a little bit of the imagination, but Genesis Audio, Sony's helping me out. Who else? Faizy Rug. Having an artist that I found in Cape Town, South Africa. He's actually sending in pieces to be on display.
Very nice.
The dogs will be making a comeback. It's going to be visually stimulating.
For people that don't know, Danny is known for these very large, what type of dogs are
They're Great Danes.
These very large Great Danes that somehow fit into these installations, and they are beautiful.
Yes.
So
they're very well trained too. Anybody wants to buy them, they're available for sale on danielhome.com.
Yes. And getting to that, how can people get in touch with you? Where can people find you?
You can find me everywhere. DannyRusso.com. Daniel Home is my online store, which we've been working really hard on launching this year. We're going to be in a few different boutiques later this year. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, DannyRusso.com.
Very nice. Now, if I were to try to describe your style to someone, what are words that I would use to describe the interior style that you bring to the table?
That's a hard one.
I think the words I would use would be, you have
let me let you do it first.
yeah, this is what I would say. You have like a punk rock kind of cool, smooth, I don't know, some of the things that you use I see are, and I'm not an interior designer, so I might not be using the right words, but you have a very in your face, kind of over the top, gaudy, those are some of the things I would think. Am I on the right path?
You are. I would say moody. I think a space should always be visually interesting as well as calming and clean. So how I managed to combine all those things, like you've been to my warehouse, which I have gold middle fingers laying around.
Yes, yes.
A 200-pound crown.
Yes.
I have a lot of interesting things, and it's stuff I've picked up along the way over the last 20 years. I love having my warehouse where I can just run in, grab stuff, take it out, try it at a client's house. If it doesn't work, it goes back. So I never try to force things on people, but my aesthetic evolves with my clients. So they kind of, we do a lot of farmhouse in Ohio. And
Farmhouse?
Yes.
And
Everything,
that's the style, I take it.
It is.
Okay.
Industrial, modern farmhouse is what everybody will tell you. And it's something that was born out of the recession. HGTV has been very heavy with Chip and Joanna Gaines. They pretty much made the style popular. Popularized a word.
Yes, I think it is.
They really honed in on that in Waco, Texas, and it's just caught on. So the Midwest really loves the farmhouse aesthetic, and they'll describe it as modern, clean. Sometimes I hear shabby chic, and sometimes I'll hear French country.
Okay.
Still, at the end of the day, it's farmhouse.
Okay.
But I can pretty much tell what shows people are listening to by how they describe
By the
aesthetic
verbiage that they use.
Exactly.
So, listening to the verbiage I use, you can tell I don't watch anything.
No. And I love how you said punk rock, because I've never been called punk rock.
Really?
No. But
do you think it's
I could see that.
It fits?
I would say pop art.
Okay.
I love a lot of the artists that are still alive today. Damien Hirst is one of my favorites right now. I love Retina. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a graffiti artist. Kind of on the Banksy level. Actually, you know Banksy is, right?
Yes.
The graffiti artist.
Yes.
So that's what I've been drawn to right now. I have skateboards. I don't know how to describe this to you. I have skateboards coming in for the museum, and they look like pills, but they are brands. So it'll be like McDonald's or Coca-Cola, and it's actually on the back of the skateboard.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So what are in your installation? And if I'm asking too much, just let me know. But what room are you setting?
I'm doing the dining room.
The dining room.
Yes.
And so last time that I saw you work,
We did the living room.
that was the living room.
Yes.
So with the dining room, does that have any differences? I mean, the obvious differences, but does that have any things that makes it more difficult than
Well, yeah.
living room?
So dining rooms are pretty much out. We've been turning most dining rooms into club rooms, and we're in a windowless situation. The nice thing about this time around is we're in the new wing, not the old wing. So it'll be a little more logistically easier. So I could tell you the whole thing pretty much because it's all gone to print. The program's being printed this week.
Okay, so we're ready to know what they're looking forward to.
Exactly. So my goal is the walls are going to be just slathered in art.
Okay.
The table's coming into me from a vendor in Texas, and I'm using a bunch of pieces from the museum's collection of art, my private collection of art, and the artist that I mentioned, Fran Smith, he's sending in pieces. So my inspiration was Harry Potter and the castle.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Harry Potter?
Yes.
The pictures in the castle start moving. So Sony is providing me with TVs, which we're going to have framed out really beautifully, and the art is going to change throughout the exhibit.
Okay.
So on all 4 walls, I'm not sure how we're doing it yet, but I know that we're doing it, and there's going to be floor-to-ceiling art TVs.
Very nice.
I'm even incorporating some neons that I've had custom made that are coming, hopefully on time. And that's yeah, it's going to be a statement making room.
As usual, per usual.
Yeah, and I was really struggling with when I have creative reign. I mean, the options are endless. So I was trying to make it accessible to everyone, affordable to execute in your own home some of the ideas, and feature every piece of furniture has been selected by me and it's available for sale the day the museum opens on my website.
So where do you kind of draw some of your influences for your artistic view with how you lay out these designs?
Hotels. Hotel lobbies. I love unique boutique hotels.
What's one of your favorite hotel lobbies?
Oh, God. Well, the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. I feel like it's technologically advanced. I haven't been there in forever, so it's a little over the top. They have the chandelier dining room. Have you been there?
I have not.
You can actually, there's a bar inside of the chandelier in their lobby.
Okay, yes, I have been here.
Okay.
And it has a second floor,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. I love how they incorporated graphic art into their columns with televisions. I'm staying at the Palms Resort, which has a bunch of gaming. All the hotels in Vegas seem like they just got redone, so I haven't been there in forever. I'm going Saturday.
Yeah, what event are you going for?
What?
What event are you going for?
It's CAVIS, the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show. So we see all of the new products that are in the pipeline that will probably hit the market around 2020, 21. So we're in the future, pretty much.
Now, do you have any influence on any of this stuff, or are you just kind of going to see what's coming down the pipeline and kind of?
Well, vendors are always looking for our feedback. As a designer, I'm hosting a couple different panels that I'll be speaking on topics such as how to buy furniture in the online world, how to compete with Amazon. We're doing stuff like that. But it's pretty much everything coming down. They gauge reaction to a product that they're about to launch. If you've ever seen me post about a black refrigerator, an interior of a refrigerator can now be black. That wasn't possible in the past because we didn't have LED lighting. So with the advent, if you will, of LED lighting, we're able to illuminate that dark space. Color shows best on black, so foods look more appetizing, and the bulbs don't generate as much heat. That would obviously make the food spoil. So when that refrigerator came out 2 years ago, its price point was at, I believe, $20,000. It's come down slightly. It's about $12,000 to $15,000 now.
So they knocked $7,000 off.
So we're waiting. I mean, in 2 more years, it'll be everything. But if you ever go into a grocery store or a UDF, notice the shelves in all the refrigerated sections. They are completely black because food shows us on black. So,
now, who was that refrigerator through?
Jen Air.
Okay.
They're the
$20,000 refrigerator.
Yeah. And like I said, it's come down, but last time I checked, we were in the 10,000 range, and that's a little much for a refrigerator.
Just a little. I mean, people drive stuff for usually around 20,000.
Well, you never know. Some people are obsessed with refrigerators. Who I don't know. I have yet to find that client. So if you have a refrigerator obsession, call me.
Yeah, that's where to get them.
Yeah.
All right. So aside from the interior design, I also know you as a fashion guy. You're always on top of what's coming down in the fashion world. You're kind of known around town for these glasses.
Yes, I would not call myself fashionable at all. I honestly don't know shit about clothes.
No.
You're the first one to admit that. I did get new Air Jordans.
Nice. Very
I still don't know how to work them because they don't have laces. And there's like an eject button of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
don't pull that on here.
Rick Owens is one of my favorite designers, and his clothes are just kind of over the top. Timo Boz is another one of my favorite brands. Somebody was trying to describe my style to me when I was at one of the markets, and they described it as post-apocalyptic in Berlin. I got it.
Right.
So, I will always be wearing black. It's just easy and effortless for me. I don't like to, I end up thinking about interiors so much, I don't want to think about what I'm wearing. So black will be my go-to. If I see something I like, I usually buy 4 pairs of the same thing. So people are like, oh, you're wearing the same thing. No, it's not technically the same thing. I just have
a different pair of the same thing.
Yeah, but when I find something I like, I typically buy 2 or 3 because I'm going to have it for 3 to 4 years.
Right.
I didn't know we were doing this much video today, or I would have wore something a little more.
Oh, it's all video today. Thought you knew.
Yeah, no, it's only audio. Podcast. On podcast.
It's a different type of podcast.
Totally.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to take a break real quick and blah, blah, blah. We'll be back.
That for shorty, she gon' always ride me to the end. Bought an ounce, we gon' roll and smoke it to the end. Me, myself, and I always roll it to the end. Bought an ounce, we gon' roll and smoke it.
So anyway, we're back with the Short North Podcast. Today we've been lucky enough to get Danny Russo, the one and only. Tell him how to get back in contact with you.
You can follow my Instagram, Danny Russo, my website, dannyrusso.com, and danielhome.com.
So Danny Russo, again, one of the best interior designers in America, maybe in the world. Who knows?
I'd like to say the universe.
Yeah, they got interior design on. This guy will be there knocking it down. So just kind of recapping what we're talking about, he's got a lot of stuff coming up with the Columbus Museum of Art. What is the name of that?
Designer Showcase 2019.
The Designer Showcase. This will be his second one.
Second one.
First one, he crushed it. Second
Happens
one.
once every 2 years.
Once every 2
and
years.
And it's a fundraiser for the Women's Board, and this year it's benefiting, it's called the Wonder School. So it's an early education preschool for creative children. I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Now, are you attached to any charitable campaigns other than this? Do you work in any other charitable fields?
Yes. The answer is yes. I don't like being tied to any one organization. So last summer I went and designed a church in Puerto Rico and helped them with the reconstruction of that. That was an interesting trip for me, designing a church. And I've done a ton of things.
Right.
Star House. That's all I can cover right now.
Right. So when can we expect to see you on TV other than this show?
God, I don't know.
I know you have had people approach you in the past and wanted to talk to you about doing stuff and putting your stuff on TV and kind of getting you out there. When
you will be the
expect
first to
see
know.
that?
And I can tell you it will be soon.
Okay.
So just stay tuned.
Very nice. Now, I know you have a show of your own as well.
Yes, my podcast.
Tell us a little bit about that.
My podcast is called The Design Exchange. You can find it on Google Play and iTunes. It's literally the Design Exchange. Me and another designer, Melinda Peters Elliott, host it every Friday. We're on episode coming up on 40 now. We started it last summer.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's something I never thought I would have been doing. I'd become an audio engineer, a sound technician.
Yeah, you got to put those hats
Then
on.
we have to have videos, and I just want to be a designer. And I find myself having to do every other direction. To be a designer now, you have to have a podcast, you have to have a blog, you have to have a book, you have to have all this other stuff. But I have a lot of fun doing it. We have a lot of great information. We speak to future clients, future designers, new designers. I wouldn't say seasoned designers really, because our information is for the homeowner and for newer designers. In design, we never really had the benefit of having mentors, and design used to be really super secretive. And now with the all the new apps and technology that's coming out, design's more inclusive of the client, and it's where it should have always been. But we like to bring people together. We travel. We're going to Atlanta in 2 weeks for the Design Influencers Conference, where it'll be about 400 to 600 of the nation's top designers, and we just have brainstorming sessions of where we're going with our brands, our marketing, what others have done that works, what others have done that have failed, and it's a great networking event.
Now, I know here in Columbus, I've seen you out and you have a team of people that you work with. With that team, how did you go about kind of selecting these people specifically to choose to work with?
Well, it's not easy. So it's all about how I gel with somebody's personality. Like, my social media director is one of my neighbors, and he has fun doing what he does, and I've kind of let him go to town with most of my Instagram stuff. My office manager, I met through my accountant. She can handle my craziness, because I told her that working with me is going to be like having another child. I take out my toys and I don't put them away, meaning my color swatches, any kind of fabric samples. It looks like a disaster in my warehouse when I'm working, and she keeps me organized. So she's fine with that. We have a great relationship, and that's it. I try to keep my team very close-knit and tight, but we are expanding, and I'm a control freak. So I like to have control, but I can't control everything at this point in my career, which is a good thing, I guess. So we've grown exponentially, and we're going to continue on that path, hopefully.
Now, if you could put together a fantasy team of people to collaborate with, who would you like to collaborate with in the future, whether it be local, national, international, and that's people or companies as well? Who would be some of the people you would like to be collaboration with?
You know, one of my big, I guess to call him an influence on my career, he's no longer alive, would be Alexander McQueen, Tom Ford, Tim Burton, somebody we were just having a conversation offset. I love Tim Burton's, just the craziness of his movies. It's like over the top. I actually found the set designer that did Edward Scissorhands, and we were talking about topiaries a minute ago, but all of those topiaries are made out of a plastic boxwood material, which we are now selling, and I ended up diving so deep into trying to find this piece that was in a showroom, and it didn't exist. The guy from the movie actually created the piece, and I ended up designing my own, so now I speak boxwood fluently. So my career takes very unexpected turns. I love it. So, but yeah, those are my three big inspirations at the moment that I can think of. Alexander McQueen's documentary is really cool. He used to be the creative director of Givenchy, and then Tom Ford actually gave him money and said, listen, Gucci's going to buy Alexander McQueen, and you can have creative control, do whatever you want, but we're going to give you the money to do it. So Alexander left Givenchy and he was with Tom Ford and Gucci for a while.
Wow. Yeah. Didn't even know that.
I had learned it in the documentary a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And then I just watched Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen.
I heard that was an amazing movie.
It was really good. It was really inspiring because they did a lot of what we do as designers, where they just went into the studio and played with different instruments. Like they put coins on drums. They dampened piano strings to create this unique sound. And Freddie Mercury was just engineering Bohemian Rhapsody, and they had no idea where they were going with it or what the final product was going to be. But I highly recommend watching that movie.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's kind of how you are when you get in there with other designers?
100%. And we, as designers, we all are controlling of our projects, and I have some great mentors who just listen to me, but we're always, when we're in a room with the designers, we're all talking over each other. So
today, what do you think one of your biggest projects has been? I know there's so many.
You know, I love them all. I didn't even realize, but I did probably about 400 to 600 rooms last year, and I hardly took any pictures. But I love walking in. You should get a photographer for that, actually. I get so much time. You've been on photo shoots with me.
I have.
It's a pain. But I love walking into most of my projects after the client has, like I'll walk back in 2 years down the road because a lot of things will happen in phases. And I could walk in a project and I'm like, wow, I did this. It's still timeless. But I was just at a client's house last week. I walked in and I'm like, did I tell you what color to paint these walls? Because I'm like, this is exactly how I would paint. They're like, Danny, we worked with you a year ago. You told us every color to paint. And I go, okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like, so we don't need to change paint color. But I can't pick just one project. They're all, I mean, I have so many great ones in the pipeline. And so many that have happened in the past. Yeah, I can't pick just one. They're all my favorites. It's like picking your favorite child.
Hey, everybody has a favorite child. They might lie and say they don't, but everybody has a favorite child.
Well, politically, you're not supposed to.
All right, now being inspired by hotel lobbies, have you done any hotel lobbies?
Not yet.
Who's going to have your first hotel lobby?
You know, I don't know, but I talked to one of my mentors a couple weeks ago, and I was telling her everything I was doing, and she goes, "You're on track to do a hotel." And I'm like, "How do you know that?" Like,
is it kind of obvious in your work where you're going to?
I guess so. Me and her get to talk maybe once or twice a year, and she's kind of the one that taught me everything I know about marketing and the social media thing and client management. So, yeah.
Very nice.
I have no idea where I'm going, but I know we're going there full speed.
Yeah. Hey, well, if I can document you on your travels there, that's good by me.
Yeah, cool.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining us today. My name is Sean Howard, at @CHow on Instagram, Full of Fine Print Studios. This is Danny Russo.
You can find me, just Google Danny Russo. On Instagram, Danny Russo, and DannyRusso.com.
Yep, and once again, we are at Denmark, 463 North High Street. Stop by and get a very good cocktail. Tell them I sent you. Peace.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.